Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Not loud enough. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for being present here. I would like you all to appreciate yourself for being present here. Let's give ourselves a warm round of applause. Before we proceed, I would request you all to stick to the basic ground rules. I request you all to switch off your mobile phones or put them on silent mode as appropriate. You know, I don't know mobiles. So here we are for another milestone that we have achieved as part of Cisco Samvad, an installation ceremony of the officers for the term Jan 2013 to June 2013. Today morning when I was browsing through Facebook, I came across a quote which goes like this: promise is a big word. It either means something or it breaks everything. It is because of the promises done by the previous officers of Cisco Samvad that we are still existent here, and we are in a shape that we can call ourselves eminent Toastmasters. Now we are going to see another set of officers do the same promise today as part of the installation ceremony. So thank you for coming in once again, and let's get started with the session. Before we proceed to the installation ceremony, I would like to call upon our past president, the outgoing president. He has been a leader and he has been an inspiration for all of us. Never a moment in the past 6 months we have ever felt that this club is not going in the right direction. We've always been thinking about how to take it to the next step forward, how to encourage members to participate, to improve upon their skills and everything. And I would request the president to come over to the podium, Sudhanshu, to help me welcome the guest for today's event, Area Entry Governor Pradeep Joseph. Our keynote speaker, Dr. Rushi Mohandas. Over to you, Sudhanshu.
Thank you. Thanks, Archana. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, thanks a lot for coming down and joining this event. As Archana mentioned, we have been very successful in the past 6 months past session that I took over. It is not because me alone, it's everyone, starting from the members, guests also, and the officers that we had, the energy that they have shown so far. I think it has been fantastic. All credit goes to everyone. Now coming back to the inspiration part that drove me here to the Toastmaster, just want to share a couple of words there. It was a fear, always it was driving me. People say, right, behind every success there is somebody's hand. Somebody say it's some woman or something and all that people say, right. It was a fear who was always, chasing me. But one day I thought, okay, let me go and join Toastmasters. I think almost everyone gets agreed to one point that, okay, everyone is afraid of something. All of you are afraid of something. All of us are afraid of something. What differentiates ourselves from others, or what differentiates to be successful is what we do with our fear. Yesterday when I was seeing that railway budget, I think there was one statement that came. I think he was giving one example there, the railway minister. A bird sitting on the branch of a tree is not afraid of falling down. Is it because the strength of the tree that the bird believes in? No. It is the skill of flying the bird believes in and the wings that the bird trusts on. So in Toastmaster also, we have the wing. There are two wings, right? One is the communication track and one is the leadership track. So that if we have both the wings, if we have both of them, we are expertising in both the area. This is nothing like that. I think you can achieve. Sky is the limit. That's what I can say. With that, I think I'm not going to take much time. Let me introduce today's Toastmaster. She has been, I think, with us for almost a year now, and she is passionate about games, be it indoor or outdoor games. She has been passionate about that. And let's have a big round of applause for Sumaya Sultana, the Toastmaster.
Give a warm round of applause to our outgoing president, Siddharth. That red colored one that appears on the notification bar when you upload your picture. Those 120 plus requests which will drive you crazy. Those innumerable friend requests, especially from the strangers. And the awesome networking ability. The same thing, the satisfaction in scrolling up and down the same news feeds over 200 times a day. How would life be without Facebook? How many of you don't have a Facebook profile account? Don't use Facebook. We have one person, so likes and positive comments there. Mr. President, dear Toastmasters and dear guests, the theme for today is Facebook. So let's sign in and wait for and keep checking for special updates that will appear on all our walls now from Cisco Samvad Toastmasters. Yes, it is the installation ceremony. A new cover story will be added to the Toastmasters timeline, and now we will tag the new members to that cover picture. So we have a special guest today to do the honors. He has been with Toastmasters for 7 years and the past president of Toastmasters Club, and he's sponsored and mentored many Toastmasters clubs, and he works for Bosch. He's happily married with 3 kids. May I call upon the Area L3 Governor, Pradeep Joseph, to fill the audience post with the enlightening posts and comments. Please join me.
Thank you, Sumaya, for signing us all in. Let me admit, I check my Facebook account only late in the evenings, so I'm not really going to talk about any of the comments or the latest news feeds. But yes, it's really a good feeling coming back to this club where I was told by Sridhar that the first meeting was held in the year 2005. That was even before I joined the Toastmasters Club. So, amazing journey for the Cisco Samvad Club. A big, big round of applause for that. There was a priest who was trying to build a church in a small village. He was trying hard to get the funding done, get people to donate so that he would build a church. But nobody was really coming forth to do that. On a Sunday morning during the sermon, he started with a big smile and said, "The good news is that we have plenty of money to build a church." People are also happy. So, wow, where did he find it? He says, "The bad news, it is still in your pockets." Talent, my dear friends, is also a lot like the money in your pockets. Unless you bring it out, unless you use to build something, it is not really going to give you the fruits. What other than the Toastmasters to experiment with your talent, try to bring it out and make a difference to yourself and others around you. Now, I came to Toastmasters driven mostly by fear, as elicited by Sudhanshu. It was also recommended to me by one of my former managers, whom I remember with fond memories. Once you step into Toastmasters, the first instinct is to go to a corner of the room, not to get noticed, not to look up when the table topic master comes to call your name or anything like that. But eventually, you start building on the confidence and become master of the stage, ability to control your fear, ability to impress the audience, etc. But I would say, do not stop there. The next big step that you need to take is on the leadership. Becoming a club officer. I'm telling you, there is no better way than becoming a club officer to really put to practice what you learned in your communication drills. Starting with your icebreaker, getting to the point, structuring your speeches, gestures, body language, inspiration, motivation, humor, everything comes into play, putting it into practice when you take up a leadership role. I exhort each and every one of you sitting out here, just try it out. You're not going to lose anything. Toastmasters is a very supportive organization. You don't have to fear failure, and you're not going to get reprimanded or anything like that, unlike your yearly appraisals. Please feel free, make sure you take up a role in the Toastmasters Club in the coming years. And you've seen, starting from the year 2005, this club is still active, running, and vibrant. It is all because of the effort of the leaders of this club. Of course, the members also play a very important role in it. And I must especially congratulate the leadership team of the last 6 months who made my life as an area governor a lot easy, because they were doing all the works for the DCP point in terms of the elections, getting the officers list, getting the dues paid, everything very, very well done. And I'm really happy that some of the leadership team is also continuing till the time I end my area governor tenure. It's also a good thing. But this is also a time in which we all need to acknowledge the kind of efforts these men and women have put in. Definitely, it always comes with a lot of effort, hard work, tears, and sweat. Toastmasters, let us take a moment to thank the outgoing officers for the efforts, a job well done, and welcome the new leadership team for the roles and responsibilities. The success of any Toastmasters club can be attributed to several factors, the leadership being one of them. And then the outgoing leadership team has shown it in them, what was in them to make this club successful. May I now request all the outgoing committee members to please rise. The outgoing committee members.
Those who are going to continue.
The outgoing members. Fellow Toastmasters, your leadership team has been active in many behind-the-scenes activities to help make your club successful. On behalf of your fellow Toastmasters and Toastmasters everywhere, I congratulate you on your success and thank you for your dedication and efforts. At this time, I formally discharge you from all further duties and responsibilities as officers of this club. Toastmasters, let's give them a big round of applause. Now may I request all the incoming officers to join me at the lectern.
Again.
Starting with the Sergeant at Arms, Treasurer, Secretary, PDPR, PD membership, PD education, and the President. As I install the new officers, gavel would be passed to the new officer. This is a symbol of the authority which you all bestow upon them as a club officer. Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Sheila Ravi. Archana is taking oath on behalf of Sheila. You are the incoming Sergeant at Arms. Your duties include arriving early to prepare the meeting room, ensuring that supply levels are maintained, greeting early arrivals, assisting with prepared speakers with their props and the lectern position, helping the Toastmasters with the awards presentations and other duties assigned by the club president or the executive board. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
I will.
Please pass. Toastmaster Sridhar Balasubramanian, you are the incoming treasurer. Your duties include collecting and paying semi-annual dues on time, accounting for all of the club funds, preparing checks, processing deposits at the bank account if applicable, reporting the current financial status when requested by PMI, and other duties assigned by the club president or the executive board. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Please pass. Toastmaster Ravi Srinivas, you are the incoming secretary. Your duties include keeping records of the executive committee meetings and the regular club meetings. Your records form the basis of many of the club reports and other duties assigned by the club president or the executive board. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Toastmaster Muhammad Rikar, you are the incoming Vice President Public Relations. Your duties include promoting the club meetings through local media, websites and flyers. You will utilize creative methods to disseminate information about the club, its members and Toastmasters in a way that will ensure a stream of guests to attend the club's weekly meeting as well as other duties assigned by the club president or the executive board. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Vice President Membership. Toastmaster Shamia CK, you are the incoming Vice President of Membership. Your duties include connecting with all the guests before and after the meetings, explaining the Toastmasters program, assisting them in their decision to join, helping them to fill out the forms, processing the completed membership applications, and other duties assigned by the club president or the executive board. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Toastmaster Vamsi Krishna Baleman, you are the incoming Vice President of Education. Your duties include charting a course of speaking and leadership for all the members. That includes finding out the members' goals, scheduling the meetings, tracking member progress, creating a fun meeting environment each week, and other duties assigned by the club president or the executive board. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Toastmaster Sudhanshu Shekhar Gowda, you are the incoming president of Cisco Samvad Toastmasters Club. You are the chief executive officer and will be expected to preside at all club meetings, regular and special executive committee meetings and other club functions. It is your challenge to see that this club enables its members to achieve their educational goals. It is also your challenge to see that your club helps the area, division, district and Toastmasters International to meet their goals. Please accept the gavel as a symbol of your leadership and dedication to the office. The gavel is a symbol of power and authority given to you by the membership of this club. Use it wisely and with restraint. Always remember that you are a member of your team as well as a leader. Will all the members of Cisco Samvad Toastmasters Club please stand? The growth and development of the Toastmasters program in Cisco Samvad Toastmasters Club depends largely on the actions of this group. On your honor as men and women of Toastmasters, will you pledge to individually and collectively stand by this club, live with it, and work with it toward the coming term? Yes. Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, as the presiding officer, I declare the officers to have been duly installed for the term of January to June 2013. A round of applause. And dear Toastmasters, it is my privilege and honor to welcome the incoming President, Toastmaster Sudhanshu.
We had a dream of being a distinguished club 6 months back during installation ceremony. And today, we have achieved that. We are a distinguished club, Cisco Samvad. Thanks for people who have put in their effort to achieve this. And for the coming session, I think for the coming season, I think we will have 9 out of 10 DCP points, and that will give us President's Distinguished Club. So let's aim for that. Can we do it?
Yes.
Thank you. I think with that, I must thank each and everyone for coming here, and I want to see that all our officers show the same kind of energy, maybe more than that, and so that we reach that point well before the timeline. Okay. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmasters.
Okay, let's give a warm round of applause. And now we officially have the new set of officers. A responsibility has been passed to the next generation. We're sending out RSVP to all the members, adding new friends to the club, uploading new ideas, downloading new plugins to sharpen the communication and leadership skills of all the members here. So now we have a very special guest amongst us. She's a dynamic communication expert, an active crusader against corruption in education, a writer, a doctor by profession, educator by passion. She has trained more than 3 decades in the field of communication in the education sector, corporate sector, and government sector. She's a world-class motivational speaker, a spiritual scientist, and so far coached thousands of people all over the globe. She's a founder and chief coach at Dr. Ushi's Wisdom Works. Currently, she is the region head of IHRO, International Human Rights Organization, for states of Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh. She is the chief coach, CEO, experimentalist, The Mind Workshops, expert mentor and founder, omental.com, nominated member of UGC Advisory Board, member on National Education Commission. Let me scroll down. Formerly the Dean, the KIMS Hospital, an experienced pediatric surgeon. Coming to her communication training and counseling part, she's a motivational speaker in Kaizen and Zanzu. And a trainer in neuro-linguistic programming and hypnosis, neuro-leadership techniques. Conducted teacher training programs. She's a national level basketball player and state level TT player. Frequently referred to as Dr. Tung Fu, she forks out words in different contexts and meanings. In other words, she is a doctor of words too. Please put your hands together and join me in welcoming the keynote speaker for today, Dr. Ushi Mohandas.
Toastmasters and friends, I always come with a statutory warning. So in case any of you are below the age of 18, you need to raise your hands. And otherwise, I hope you have your parents and your spouse's permission to be listening to me. And you shouldn't blame me later because I speak the truth. And the truth has many takers and it also has many enemies. And I just heard from the Toastmaster that the theme for today is Facebook. And I was at a management college where I teach. I teach in many management colleges. And yesterday when I was at a college, there was a young man and a girl, and they were sitting and fighting. And when I asked them, what exactly is your problem? They said we were just hankering about an affair which we had for a few years. And I was wondering what they were talking about. And the argument, sadly enough, was that the boy called it off on Facebook. And he said, I break up with you. And I asked the girl, good for you, go on in life, a lot more highways available. And I believe the girl was really sad, ladies and gentlemen, because she says, check, my internet was slow, otherwise I should have done it. So that's the power of relationships today. That's the power of people today, and that's how sadly bonded we are today. Online connections. There was a time in our life, many, many years ago, when we had attached families, maybe a bathroom which was a little detached. Today, if you look at all our homes and apartments and lives, we have attached, lovely bathrooms, but we have detached setups at home. And I come from a background wherein I see a lot of trouble. I see a lot of maybe ill-being. I see a lot of fighting between people. I'm a conflict management specialist. I don't create any, I solve them. And in order to have been solving them, I need to know how it all started in the first place, which means that my psychology comes in handy. I'm a brain scientist. I've been working with my favorite organ for many, many years. I've done all forms of, like I did 4 years of medicine, skipped on, went on to do BDS, then did MDS, then did PhD, and you name it and I had it with me. Not because it made any difference to my life, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to know how it feels to go in there. And maybe one fine day when I walked into a corporate, somebody told me, you don't know our life, it's very different from yours. So in order to experience what other people experience, it was very important for me to get in there. And communications is something which came very naturally to me. First, because I'm a woman. Second, I stay married to one man for 25 years. On a lighter note, there's nothing serious about this, you can laugh freely. I think all yarn happens in the human brain in a maximum atmosphere of relaxation. And if I think we're going to learn today, or I'm here to just share what I believe in, which is communications, it's gotten me all my friends, it's gotten me all my success, if you may call it so. It's gotten me a lot of experience, as I call it. So many good, some bad, but mostly improvable. I've never seen anything which has actually taken me into a wall or into a situation wherein I believed I couldn't come back ever. Being a doctor, I get to see a lot of illness. So I've learned the funda of wellness. If people taught me how to speak, I believe silence is very important. I've always realized the opposite of what has been told to me right from my childhood, because I'm more of a right-brained individual, until such that I discovered I had a left brain too. Now for many of us, Vamshi, are you a left-hander? Yes. He's got a very developed right brain. So for those of us who are generally using our right side for everything, including writing and everything else that we may deem fit to do, we have very developed left brain setups. And communication, and that also creative communication, is a lot related to the right brain. So we don't really develop a right brain, and we do everything that there is as prescribed by the Toastmasters. Believe me, we'll still be the same old people who are repeating from a manual. I have been a giver to Toastmasters because I just love the movement. Why? Because it's free, not in terms of the fees, but in terms of the functionality. Second, it gives you a safety net if you fail. You can just fall back on anybody. And this is the only place where you're not really judged for not performing very well. And it gives you one more chance with so much of positive feedback sometimes to a point of being a deterrent in some students' lives. I feel that sometimes people come up here and just say, oh, wonderful, wonderful. And a person who really didn't know anything about communication all of a sudden feels that he's arrived. It has a downside. And I've seen that downside. I'm honest. I give you the good and the bad of my experience in a nutshell. Why am I a Toastmaster? Only because I have friends there. Have you learned anything at the Toastmasters? Of course, yes. What not to do. And if I look at learning, it's the unlearning that's difficult in communications. It's not the learning. We're all natural communicators. As human beings, how can I say that this is best communication and this is not so best? There is no quantifying a communicator. But you can always see whether he's able to communicate, because ladies and gentlemen, the science and the philosophy of communication, which I share with the Toastmasters all the time, is the fact that the audience decides who you are and you don't decide what you are. So the best communicator, in my definition, is somebody who's able to connect. Not online, really. Every single person should be connected to you when you're speaking to them. And there's no way that you will not connect to anybody when you're expressing your honest thoughts to somebody. So what does Toastmaster do for me? It helped me connect to many people. Thereby, it helped me understand the listening capacity of many, many people. Some short span, some long span, some not so long span or short, medium span, some no span. So it takes all kinds of people to make the world. And a good communicator understands the nature of the audience, which is so heterogeneous. I cannot say, oh, this audience is a brilliant audience. All of you are listening to me. All of you are looking at me. I'll agree. But how many of you are really listening to me? This is something you will have to work on. I'm no expert. I've always been a learner. I've never been a teacher. And the reason I stick to teaching and I sit with students all the time is with the motive of learning. And what do I learn? To be natural, to be spontaneous, and to be prepared mentally, and not through papers, through exercises, through rattoing as we call it in Delhi. Where everyone just studies, opening body conclusion. I'm sorry if you put it on Toastmasters, I might be thrown out of membership, but nevertheless it's the truth. Structure does not make you a great communicator. Spontaneity makes you a brilliant communicator. And this is what I've learned other than connect. Speak your heart out. And believe me, the audience will listen to this. You may not be speaking in Queen's English. If you can pick it up, I'll be very happy. But English, by the way, is definitely not our language. We all know, in spite of being so brilliant in English, you still will make some errors. And it's very, very possible in our kind of language because we know. I mean, you have teachers who tell the student, go and stand in the center of that corner. You got teachers who say, go hang that calendar, I'll hang myself. The implication of what a person is saying is far more important than the words the person uses. So in context, speak in context. What is a powerful tool in speaking at Toastmasters, which I have learned, and which all of us have a chance to experiment on? The use of the body. We underestimate the use of the body, and we work all our lives on the use of words. But you know the loveliest part in communication? I don't need to say anything. I just need to use my body effectively. You know the saddest part, what happens if you're sitting in movements such as this? We end up using our body so loudly that it takes over the message what we're trying to convey, because the body, ladies and gentlemen, is a very powerful tool. It should back your words. But you know what happens to most of us? It overtakes our words. So people end up seeing us more than hearing us. At the Toastmasters, what have I learned until now? The art of connecting, the art of being spontaneous, the art of naturally using what comes best to all of us, our body. If you ask me, how did you manage to stay in Toastmasters for not one, not two, almost 14 years now? The first emceeing at Cisco was done by me, and I still remember Sridhar was kind enough to have me and a team of 2-3 people over, and they are mostly men in Toastmasters. So there were 4 men other than me, and you need to fit in order to communicate. You cannot look at genders. You can't say, I find it odd talking to men, I find it odd talking to women. Men, women, or anything in between. Talking to human beings should never be a problem. Today we live in a generation, ladies and gentlemen, where we're teaching our dogs, honey, speak, speak, speak. We say, oh, see what all he's saying. And when a little baby says something you don't like, what do you ask it? Shut up. We live in a strange world today. I can't understand half of what is happening around me, but nevertheless I'm a stand-up comic. It gives me enough matter to make money through speaking. And how do I get my content? By just simply pitching. So what did the Toastmasters teach me very importantly in communication? The art of listening and observing. Observe and just listen. Your speech is ready with the opening, body, and hopefully a conclusion. As ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters always teaches me the value of other people's time. So if you ask me about the movement, yes, I would definitely commend a movement which has 2 lakh, maybe 75, more than 200, maybe lakh of people across the world maybe about 160 countries if I'm not mistaken, and maybe about 14,000 clubs currently being run. And the same pattern followed everywhere. So I guess like it should be a good movement for it has sustained so many years, 1924 till today. I belong to a club called LA 1924. We meet every Wednesday at Royal Orchid. Today, after a year, I'm running back to my club. I feel like Bhishma in Mahabharata. Because everyone, just come back running to me in case of any problem. Because I'm the oldest member over there. And I've been a sustaining member for 14 years. Sometimes you don't last even in a relationship for 14 years. So you can imagine what kind of benefits I might have not derived, I would say reaped from the movement. I've given back as much as I can. Don't be under the misconception that we only get things from there. I think it's our responsibility to also give back to Toastmasters what we get. Which means a lot of mutual respect, a lot of camaraderie, and the fact that there's a lot of sharing. There are times in our club when some people are actually not feeling good. They've had a bad day at work, they've had a lousy day at home, and they come for a meeting, and within 2 days, 2 hours, they're just out of there and they say, oh, we're feeling good. We're feeling so much better. You know why? Because man is a social animal. We are meant to do good to one another. Every time you see someone or every time you say bye to someone, what do you say? Keep in touch, have a good day. Does anyone say have a bad day? Don't ever keep in touch. We are not naturally programmed to be bad. But sometimes circumstances and the environment tweaks us. And it allows us to grow horns sometimes. Is it only about good communication? No. It's about telling someone how they are not God's gift to mankind, and how I might sometimes get nausea at the very first instance that I see them. In short, I'm trying to tell them get lost. So it teaches you the use of parliamentary words to abuse, which is a very good benefit from where I work. People get a little late in understanding what I'm trying to say because it teaches you parliamentary, not so parliamentary. It teaches you time and getting late. It teaches you grammar, which is okay. And if you can learn from it, fine. But there are people who still say, I am not so sure, I am not so poor, it's all right. So long as you understand. Am I coming across?
Yes.
Am I coming across?
Yes.
The most important thing in communication is to respect one owes a speaker to respond. We believe that we are privileged enough to stand in front of an audience and speak. And we feel ashamed to ask for a response sometimes because we believe it's not really for someone who's arrived to ask if they're being understood, because the best of speakers can be misunderstood. So the biggest lesson I've learned at the Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, other than connecting, other than the power of the body, other than valuing time, other than the fact that you be natural and spontaneous, is to learn to ask for what you want. Nothing comes to us. It's a movement like a well. And if you see a well, ladies and gentlemen, you may be an Arnold Schwarzenegger. Does it mean you can swim? No. You may be lanky, you may be fit for nothing, you may be an X-ray who's just walking around the place. But in order for you to swim that well, you need to jump right in. You need to gasp, you need to choke, you need to drown, you need to flay your arms and your legs until such that one fine day you learn to stay afloat. Toastmasters is like that well. Just by being endowed with English, the capacity to speak, but becoming an Arnold Schwarzenegger by yourself and having a wonderful body, it doesn't enable any one of us to swim. The point I'm driving home is, if I send you 1 million manuals and I send you 1 million video cassettes on how to swim beautifully, you jump into that water and the first thing you do is like, oh! I've seen it. I've seen it. I've got a patient who's from the United States, and then with due respects to everybody, I respect all fellow human beings. All castes, all creeds, all religions, but then in order to elicit an example and draw a comparison, sometimes I've got to show you. And this patient just walks up into her operatory and she was like, oh, is this place Tehran? oh, it's so clean, and my doctor's from Mysore, you know. He's a Gowda too. And he was just sitting next to me. And he was like, "You madam, an accent and he was like, oh my God, is this clean? Is this sterile?" And by the way, she's in labor, okay? So she's coming for a checkup just before her due date. And then she comes in there, after all the examinations and all that stuff, she comes in after about a week for the actual day. When you're actually rolling in pain, you know, best communication is done in pain. And you get emotional. And then finally she just walks in and she says, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And this guy was like, you know. And then finally this girl comes in, she sits where she is, and going through the entire procedure and watching everybody at that moment in heavy accents, call my husband, get the video, get the channels ready. We're going to have a live birth which my relatives want to see, and we need to keep it, you know, as sterile as possible. And my friend, Mr. Gowda from Mysore, just observing like that, because until then he wasn't connected, ladies and gentlemen. And all of a sudden, the final pain came in, and she said, she's, by the way, not from Bangalore, she's from Kerala. How many of you from Kerala? Okay, just one of you. Okay, two of you. Right, I'm not sure if you'll understand the lingo, but I'll translate it for you. And then when the pain just came in, she just came up and she said, "Oh my God, oh my God." And finally she said, "Ende Rabbe, she said, which means like, "Just please save me, God," in Malayalam. So what happened to, oh my God, it went through 6. Toastmasters teaches all of us the art of being original. You're lovely the way you are. And there's no way any one of us wants to tinker with that, because for me, I don't think anyone will be as connected as an original speaker. And that's why I say speak from the heart. Be who you are, talk what you feel, just watch out for who you're talking to, and just a little bit play with how you're going to say it. I think that's what Toastmasters is all about. It's very simple, easy to follow, universally understood. It teaches us mutual respect. Imagine we had 20 of us in this room who sat here for 1 hour, we haven't still fought. And you know how today's world is. It's just on your television sets right now. I'm also in politics, by the way. I used to head the radio station. I used to be the head of radio station in Mumbai for 4 years. I worked with broadcast. I know how it is. And the kids who train under me, they used to say, "Ma'am, how are we supposed to become RJs? We are supposed to talk to walls, you know." And if you see in an RJ's chamber, you'll understand you've got a panel like this, you've got a mic there, and you just got to keep speaking and speaking to nobody. And I have an RJ friend of mine who we taught the art of using a doll and speaking. And he used to say, "Oh, come on, guys." And you know, he used to look at something, imagine, and then end up talking. So speaking, my dear friends, is about imagination. In areas where you're not able to get matter, or you're forgetting, I'm not able to download, let me warn all of you that there is nothing comparable to a human brain. And one of it is enough for any Apple or any job or anybody in this world. I'll vouch for it. I'm almost 60 years old. And you take me on a test with anybody who's like 10, 15, 20 years old, I'll show you how to beat them hollow in terms of programming. In terms of memory, in terms of output, you have absolutely no problems, because I'm an ordinary human being, so are all of us. If one brain can, all of us can. So Toastmasters gives us a platform where all of us are uniform. It doesn't allow anyone to feel superior, inferior, or someone who can't do much with what they already have. Because ladies and gentlemen, we need to do what best we can with what we have. The problem starts happening when I start doing some things with what she has. And all of us have one quality in us, which is the strongest. If you ask anyone who knows me, okay, and you ask Kushi, and you say, how does she speak? They'll say power, they'll say energy. These will be the words which people describe you with, right? The same way, if you get feedback, always look at that one word which is coming back to you from everybody. Not what you think of yourself. I might think I'm a demure little maiden. But then there's somebody who will walk up to me and say, oh ma'am, you're so intimidating sometimes. And that's good. That's a perception which is in the brains of the listeners. I'm quickly going to wind up, and how much time do I have? You need to tell me. Do you have 5 minutes? You have 5 more minutes, right? So I'll take 5 minutes to just quickly tell you how speaking can build and change lives. Speaking can change careers. Speaking can take us everywhere. It makes us a better spouse sometimes. It enjoys and helps people relish relationships. My husband, by the way, is a very quiet gentleman. Does he have a choice? But then he's learned it. And he says, I don't like it. And if I ask him to come to Toastmasters, believe me, the motivational speaker that I am and the globally famous person that I am, if I tell him, please come to Toastmasters, he said, no, nobody needs to teach me what I do naturally. So what am I trying to say? I respect him for the way he is. I wouldn't insist, because it's a well. Either we drown in it, we draw from it, we play with our foot in it a little bit, we drink maybe a cup of it and say, oh, this may be toxic. Or we jump into it, we drown first, we choke first, we push ourselves into all the walls of the well and learn what all we can do with that well in which we all are, which is the Toastmasters. I cannot, ladies and gentlemen, teach you swimming by watching videos. Talking, speaking is very different from communicating. Teaching is not coaching. The same way as talking is not communicating, because ladies and gentlemen, I am only a sender. The most important arm of communicating is the receiver. What does Toastmaster teach you? It teaches all of us the media which we can use. It doesn't teach you who you can become, because you already are. It doesn't teach you who you need to become, because you will be, since you are. But it will teach you how you can take yourself a little forward. I have never seen one speaker for the last 14 years who has been a part of this wonderful movement who has gone backwards. You may not love to speak, but you need to speak, ladies and gentlemen. In today's world, silence is misunderstood very badly. Long ago, Rajnikant told a little boy to shut up. Today, they say he's the Prime Minister of India. It's humor. You can use self-deprecating, you can take a risk. I work with the Prime Minister, so it's all right. So he understands where all this comes from. There are limitations. But to me, speaking is about listening, more than speaking. Through good listening, you can understand not one thing, you can understand everything about the person. Words are nothing but dressed up thoughts. So if someone is talking to me, in 15 seconds I know him or I know her. You are what you say, not what you eat. That comes later. And what you eat sometimes goes out of you. Not what you say. 0.9 nanoseconds is all it takes to embed a thought. And if you say it, it takes 10 million years for you to take it off. If we say it, it's embedded. If we think it, it's okay. And the secret in happiness remains, don't keep self-talking. Toastmasters doesn't teach us that. But I'm just sharing this with you as a doctor. The main problem in today's world and the kind of illnesses we all suffer from today is self-talk. We keep talking internally. And the moment we do that, you know what you're doing? You're embedding all that what you don't want into your brain. And it takes ages for us to get rid of it. So what is speaking? Nothing for me. I always come empty. When I entered this room, I'm empty. When I go out of this room, I'm empty. So always speaking is only as good as your last performance. How good are you as a speaker? My last performance. Now if I'm good, I'm happy I go away. Now if I'm bad, I have one more chance to improve next time. No one has died because of speaking, ladies and gentlemen. But many have died because they are silent. And it's wonderfully said that today's world is so full of violence that it's not the violence of the lousy ones that's going to kill us in future. It's the silence of the good ones that's going to drown us for good on planet Earth. We need to speak. And believe me, it's good for health. As a doctor, I prescribe that. You know why? Applauding. Applauding is very, very important to your health. All the peripheral nerve endings, the neurological and the blood vessels over here, if you get them together, it's a direct connection to your heart. That's why people say keep smiling, keep smiling. This musculature and this, all the peripheral vessels are here. So there's a reason why we have to keep applauding, applauding, applauding. Weekly once, we're actually taking care of our health as well on a lighter note. And that's why I'm saying, don't please, when you're applauding, we need to put